If you guys haven't heard already, I'm going to tell you now. There is a huge lawsuit case that just closed out on June 5th of this year, telling us wholesalers that we're allowed to cold call and do cold outreach once again, and it's absolutely monumental. It's so big that I'm going to talk to you guys about how we're going to implement our new strategy within the next 30 days based off these findings of these court cases. But I want to kind of today show you what's going on with TCPA and how Coffee First Fast is the offer LLC and that court case that just closed out in Phoenix, Arizona, how it's all going to play out, what the details are, and how we're going to scale our business based off this information. So without further ado, let's kind of go into the nitty gritty of this lawsuit. So first things first, what is TCPA? TCPA is the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, and it's lawsuits for making unsolicited telemarketing calls, including those with auto dialers, pre-recorded messages to consumers who have not provided prior consent, right? So all these cold calls, all these SMS campaign blasting, your AI, power dialers that are calling these sellers, asking them to sell their property or if they're interested in selling your property. There's always been, the rumors or the fears of getting class action lawsuits doing this. And we've seen some of our partners, some of our friends get hit with these lawsuits over the years. And if you haven't known or if you haven't been in the space in a long time, marketing is very cyclical depending on what's going on in the world. So in 2021 to 2023, SMS campaigns were absolutely insane. People were making millions of dollars a year just doing text message campaigns, right? And that drastically slowed down as time progressed due to all these lawsuits, due to all these fears. But because of this recent findings or this recent court case decision, this changes the entire game. And we're going to go over the actual court case to show you why it's such a game changer. Because cold calling to ask a seller if they're wanting to sell their property is apparently not soliciting and following the TCPA guidelines. So let's kind of go deeper into it to kind of show you what's going on. So this is an article from National Law Review, and it covers the Coffee versus Fast Easy offer case. This has been going on since 2024, so it's been a long time, and it just closed out on June 5th. This is a huge win regardless for wholesalers because of, the findings of this case, right? So if we scroll down here, I want to highlight something right here that the court and the jury was trying to figure out if, asking someone, have you given up selling your XYZ property? And they found out that these were not telephone solicitations because they did not offer to sell or rent anything to the call recipient, right? You're not selling a service, and that's the biggest thing. So if you're comparing apples to oranges right now, me calling you to ask you if you're going to sell your property or if ever thinking about selling property does not violate TCPA. But what does violate it is trying to sell a service. So, for example, if you're a real estate agent calling a seller, asking them if they want to list their property with you, that is a service. That is a service by you where you're going to benefit a lot by it, right? You're selling a service, and that violates TCPA. And that's what this huge argument was going on, right? And if you go to this article here, and I'll give you everything in the link down below, you can fill out your email down there, and I'll send you this full summary for you so you can quickly go through it. But ultimately, what happens was that yes, the court was sympathetic, right? They understand that calling these sellers and blasting these sellers with text messages is very, very annoying, right? But there's a big, big thing that no matter what happens, if you decided to to me as a wholesaler, or if you decide to sell it on a market or whatever, do it yourself, ultimately, if you worked with us, you would still make money, right? We are still trying to give you a fee or, trying to buy you your house with cash, right? So it's not like we're trying to sell you a service. We're trying to actually figure out if you're going to sell the property, and the plaintiff would still make money off this transaction. So if we go through this entire paragraph here, long story short, is that the defendants would ultimately benefit from an effective fee deducted from their offer price, right? And in that sense, the calls and texts might constitute solicitations in a colloquial sense of the word, but even if in a hypothetical scenario, the plaintiff did not make as much money as she or he might have made selling her home without the fast, easy offer services, right? She would still be making money and not spending a cent on purchasing any goods or services from the defendants, right? So even if you sold the property to me and I made a fee off it, right, a finder's fee, you still, as the homeowner, did not pay any money towards any services or goods that I'm providing, right? Because we would pay all the closing costs, we would pay the marketing, we would pay the title company, we would do all these different things that would not be out of the homeowner's pocket. So this does not count towards violating the TCPA, right? So this is a great analysis. This is a great ruling. This is a ultimate win for cold callers and wholesalers alike. And now I'm going to kind of show you how we're going to pivot in the next 30 days. Because obviously, if you follow me for a while, I talk about all the different marketing strategies that we use in the wholesale space, right? So we use direct mail, we use inbound marketing, but we do focus a lot on niche marketing, right? And there's a lot of people on the niche market list, like, pre-foreclosures, probate divorces that are on the DNC list, but now we have the green light to actually reach out to them, and we're super excited about it, right? So in the next 5 minutes of this video, I'm going to show you the exact breakdown of how we're going to upscale 3 to 5x on our outbound marketing using cold calling. And I'm going to show you all the different softwares that we use to also help our business as well. So for us, we're hitting them with 3 different marketing strategies. The first way, we're going to stick to our guns because one, it's low marketing and nobody is doing this. We have an auto campaign built out in our CRM for email marketing. And remember, I tell you guys, I do pre-foreclosures, probates, divorces, lease pendants, all these different county courthouse record data. We are putting them in an automated email sequence, and it just goes down and we email them, 5 times every single day. And as you can see, we have leads currently going through them right now. We have 19 in the pre-foreclosure list. We have 6 in the lease pendant. So we have actively leads going through. And then we also track them by who's actually opening these emails. So if you go to our opportunities tab here, we track them by the eaches, right? So we have 102 different leads and code violations right now, but we actually go down to seller emails where we are tracking every single seller that we email, how many times have they opened our emails. So that's a big, big thing, right? So if someone's opening our emails every single day, these are people that our acquisition managers are going to call personally off the CRM and say, hey, we see that you've been reading our emails. Have you been thinking about selling your property? Right? So that's a big thing. So now we're able to, one, email them. Two, we're also going to call them because now DNC is gone. So now we're just going to call them and say, hey, you've been reading our emails. We want to see if you're interested in selling your property, right? The next thing is if you guys are cold calling, which is the biggest thing that we're talking about today, we use a software called Ready Mode, right? If you guys have not heard of Ready Mode, it is a software where you actually can multi-line dial. So if you're using your cell phone like this here, you have to manually input the numbers one by one and call each one, and that would take you absolutely forever calling, 2, 3 thousand phone numbers a month, right? What the Ready Mode does is you can actually set it to call 3 to 5 different lines per time, right? So when you hit, dial, it's calling 3 to 4 people at the same time, and if someone picks up, it hangs up the other lines and connects you to that one seller. So this software allows my cold callers and my acquisition managers to reach hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people per hour. And that's honestly the only way for you to get through these giant lists is through using these different types of dialer softwares, right? And the reason why Ready Mode is the best is because it actually records all your phone calls. And if you guys have been listening, we do a lot of call audits, right? So if we have people that have been reaching sellers and they have conversations over 1 minute, that's something that my team and I actually listen to every single phone call. And it tracks all your KPIs. So if you've dialed 1,000 phone numbers, it tells you how many people have picked up, which tells you your connection rate, right? And if your connection rate is super low, then you might need to know that your data is not that good and you probably need to shift to a different thing. And what we've done on our CRM is since we're going to build our cold calling outreach on Ready Mode, you can actually press little buttons here, right? Follow up for appointment, interested in 30 days, follow up in 30 days. So we actually, when you press the button on Ready Mode, it ports it right to our CRM so we know how motivated each seller is, and then we can track them manually from the CRM. So that's the biggest thing is you got to make your life a little easier. If you're going to cold call these sellers at the very beginning, yes, you can use your cell phone. And if you're calling only a list of like 50 to 60 people, you can get it through, by yourself in a month. But if you're calling anything more towards the 1,000 or higher, I really recommend that you look into a software to do a power dialer. And you can get all the information down in the link below. And hopefully this helps you out. ultimately, guys, if you guys have been following all this real estate madness and all these lawsuits and all this stuff, this court case finding here is absolutely huge. Because what's going to happen is the time is now. If you guys are cold calling right now and you guys aren't calling the do not call list right now, you got to shift that immediately, because as more wholesalers find out about this, every single person watching this video is going to start converting over to cold calling again, right? And like I said in the very beginning of the video, marketing is very cyclical. It changes as time goes on, or changes as what the market's doing, right? So everyone went to direct mail in the last year or so. Why? Because of all the lawsuits that were going on. People can't physically cold call everybody, so now we're going to send mail because there's nothing illegal about sending mail, right? Why do I email people? Because most people are saying direct mail, they're not emailing people, right? So it's a big thing is now cold calling is the literally the new gold rush, right? So you must start calling these people before once all these wholesalers move over. And then once all these wholesalers take over the cold calling space, then you need to know that you need to pivot and go back to inbound marketing when it's least competitive. So I hope you guys learned a lot. Hope you guys hit the phone super hard. This is literally the 2025 gold rush for wholesaling. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see like the day-to-day stuff. I post every single day on there. So hope to connect with you guys there. Send me a DM. See you guys next time.